Welcome back, crafters and felters. Today we are going to try out a new dryer ball challenge. I got these dryer balls off Amazon and decided why not make something out of them. So today we're going to create an adorable barn owl. As you can see, the base is quite firm, so I think this would be perfect to start off any needle felting project if you just need to save that extra time. So this little cutie we'll make today, but before we get into it, I just want to say thank you for joining the channel, and if you're new, welcome. This is where I share my tutorials and my crafty side on how to needle felt adorable cute animals. So let's get into it. I have placed the material list up on the screen for you, so please feel free to pause the video to write down the materials before we start. So now that you have your materials, let's start off with a dryer ball. So it's approximately 9 inches or 23 centimeters around, the one that I have, and this will be made for the base of the body. So now we have our dryer ball, let's grab some carding wool. This is just core carding wool. And I'm just getting a little bit. We're going to make the head with this. So as you notice, it's pretty much the same color as the dryer ball itself, so it will blend quite well. So just might want to make sure that we don't have any straw or anything stuck in the carded wool, otherwise that will damage your needle. So just be careful of that. I'll give you some measurements here. So the carded wool is approximately 6 inches or 15 centimeters long with, I'd say 4.5 inches there and 11.5 centimeters. So not too much, just enough to get us started. So start rolling in your carded wool. I'm just folding that in there. Getting my multi-needle tool. Now, if you have a multi-needle tool, that is great because it will fasten up the process for you. But if you do not have a multi-needle tool, that's totally fine. Take your time. Just use your 38 star needle here, or a needle that you feel comfortable with. We're just putting together the shape here. So it's a rectangle shape. And now we will fold that in on the edges and felt that with the multi-needle tool. So we're pretty much trying to put together the head shape of the owl. Just felting that in place. I'm curious, while we're felting together, I want to know if you've used a dryer ball before with your felting projects, how you went and what you made out of it. So now that we've put that together, let's just check out the shape of our owl head that we're putting together. So I'm going to start attaching it to the dryer ball. You can use your 38 star needle here. And make sure that we're going around the base and edge of the head, so attaching it to the dryer ball. And now if you're enjoying this tutorial so far, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel to keep up with my latest tutorials and updates. It really means a lot to get your support, so thank you for that. So we're continuing on with felting around the base of the head, taking our time with this because we'll have to make sure that it is firmly attached before we go on with the rest of the project. So let's get felting together. that we've felted the head into place, I was just checking if there's any air bubbles left in the head, because if there is, make sure you felt them in place. If you feel there's any divots on the head of your owl, make sure you just add a little bit more core wool. We would rather add little bits at the start than too much. So let's grab some 10mm plastic eyes here. I'm using my owl to create a hole so we can insert the eyes. I'm just using some clear glue here. You're more welcome to felt the eyes in if you would like to do that instead. This is optional, but I just think that the plastic eyes really make them stand out a lot. So making sure that we're putting in even holes in the face of your owl. And again, repeating the process for the second eye. If you're not happy with your eye placement, don't be scared to just take out the eye like I'm doing here and re-poke a hole, glue it in again, and put it into place. So it's looking really cute. You can already tell that it's turning into an owl, which is fantastic, because usually in needle felting projects it takes a while before you can see what it will turn into. So here I am going to combine the coat for the owl. I've got some really nice chestnut chap and golden hound carded wool that I got from the wool room. And I'm going to get 2 carding brushes. You can card these and combine them together by hand, but today I'm going to show you how I use my carding brushes to combine colours. You might have the perfect colour for a barn owl already, and so you can skip this step if you like, but if you don't have a particular colour for a project, I guess this is to show you don't feel disheartened. You can combine colours and give it a go. So yeah, carding brushes really do help and speed up the process, and it blends the wool just quite nicely. I have tried blending wool in the past with my fingers, and it does work well, but not as precise as the carding brushes, I find. So we're just putting just a little bit of each colour in, so 50-50 really. And once we combine those colours, take that off the brush just gently, as you can see here. And we'll place that on the head of our owl soon. So you might want to make a snowy owl. You might want to use a nice grey and white. Or you might want to try a nice pink and purple. You might want to get creative with your owl colours here, and it's totally up to you. That's the magic and freedom of needle felting. So we're going to place colour onto the owl using our multi-needle tool. So placing at the top of the head, we want to create a little love heart shape around. So the love heart shape will be the white, so just curving the wool around the face like this. Take your time. You might even want to use a singular needle just to get a precise shape around the face. So with any extra wool, you just gently tear that off, as you can see here, and we're going to continue on just a little bit of a slither of the wool. We're not going to fully connect it around the front of the face, just mostly at the face, so we're going to have a finger width in between each side, which I will show you a bit later. So I'm using my singular 38 star needle here just to felt that into place. As you can see, we have half a love heart shape already just by felting that round carefully. So let's do the other side and repeat the process. Now that we've completed the head of the owl, added the color there, we are going to use the same type of color and twist that together with your fingers first to create a line, and we're going to felt that from the eye down to where the beak will be, and it is at an angle there. So just showing you what it would look like and repeating the process on the other side too. So it is going down at an angle, showing you here. And at the bottom is where we will attach the beak. So I'm just using my 38 star needle, but you could use your 40 as well. It really just depends on what you're comfortable with. Just getting a small amount of that blended carded wool that we used, and just felting that into place as in a triangle shape. Just use your eyes here, I'm eyeballing it at the moment, and it just depends on how big or small you would like the owl's beak to be. But as you can see, it is a triangle shape here. I'm just fiddling around to see where it would fit. So once you're happy with the placement of your owl's beak, we're going to felt that into place around the edges first. And just once you're happy, felt around and then start felting inside the beak as well. But be careful not to felt too hard, otherwise you may lose the shape. So we're just felting carefully around, but keeping the triangle shape. Once we completed the beak, let's have a quick look of how our owl is going. Now that we've completed head, beak, the eyes, and around the head, I think it's time we attach some wings to our cute little owl. So again, using the same wool blend. If you have run out of that blend, get your carding brushes and add a little bit of wool each to each card. We don't want to add too much wool, as I've shown before, otherwise it won't blend properly. So just be mindful of that and play around with your carding brushes. Like, it is a bit of a trial and process, so that is a bit of fun as well. So just blending those two colors together. I would also like to know what type of owl is your favorite, if you have a favorite owl. Here we have the barn owl in Australia, and I think it's quite majestic and gorgeous, so that's my favorite type of owl. Now that we've blended that wool together, we're going to gently take that off our carding brush, as you can see. And we'll use these for the wings. Now if you're enjoying this tutorial, please make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps me with putting together tutorials for the channel. Knowing that you enjoy them really means a lot. Thank you. So we're going to add the wings to the side of the dryer ball there. As you can see, it's kind of already into shape already. So what I'm going to do is get my multi-needle tool, and again you can use a singular needle for this is just optional, but we're going to gently felt that on the dryer ball. We're wanting almost like if you picture a strawberry shape, so the strawberry top is at the front and we're going strawberry bottom at the end, or a wing shape. So getting my 38 star needle here, I am just felting the rest into place, making sure I get the tip of the wing a bit pointed at the end, and felting that through. So take your time with this. It's quite easy to make. I think this little owl is a fantastic project for anyone who would like to experiment with using a dryer ball. It is a lot of fun here, so this is what we're all about, cozy and creative vibes on the channel. Now that we've felted the wool into place for the wing, I'm going to get my 40 star needle here. And the 40 star needle is for the finer details, so for a smoother effect of felting. So to get that smooth finish, we're going to use this needle. So just felt around the wing. Don't felt too hard because this is a thinner needle, it's more delicate, so it's easier to break. So just be careful with that. Take your time and felt around. I will fast forward the felting now with a little bit of relaxing music, but just beware that we will repeat this process for the wing on the other side of your owl as well. Enjoy your felting. Now that we've successfully felted both wings on either side, owl's really coming together now. So let's just add a little bit of cute details. Getting some brown carded wool here. You can use a dark brown or possibly a black, or it depends on what type of colors you're going for with your owl. But we're going to add approximately 5 little dots just to get some detail in with a 38 star needle. And felt a little bit of that brown carded wool into place on the wing. Now you might want to add dots all over your owl's wing. It just depends on what you'd like to do, but I'm sticking with 5 on either side here. So just twizzling it together in your fingers first to get a circular shape, and then felting that into place. Now remember, if there's anything like straw or a different fur or hay or something like that in your wool, make sure to pick that out because it will damage your needle. So just be careful with that. But this part is quite fun. I like adding little details like this. It's quite easy to do. And it just gives your owl a little bit of personality too. So we will repeat this process on the other side of the wing too. And we'll also add some little freckles at the top of his head as well, which I'll show you soon. Now that you added some of those details here, I'm just going to check on your owl, see how it's looking. The best part of needle felting is quite forgiving, so you can squidge it up and just have a look to see how you'd like your owl to sit and what shape it's going to look like with their head. So I'm just comparing it to the other owl that I've made, but it seems like he is missing a bit of a tail here. So using the same carded wool that we've used for the wings and his head and his beak, we're going to use the same for his tail. So we only need a little bit. Using the multi-needle tool, we're going to create a triangle shape. I'm just folding in parts of the wool to make the tail thicker. Sorry for it not focusing. There we go. It's a bit better. So we're just using the multi-needle tool to create that shape. Try not to felt too hard, because otherwise the fibers get easily stuck on the felting mat. It can't be helped, but if you felt too hard, it's going to be even more difficult to peel it off. So just be careful. Just a quick measurement here. It's 1.5 inches or 3.5 centimeters at the top and top to tail. So now we can add some lines in our owl's tail. We're going to use a slither of brown carded wool. We're only going to add in 2 lines, so I'm just zooming in here to show you whereabouts the lines I'm going to add. And again, needle felting is very forgiving, so if you're not liking the way it looks, you can just gently lift it off and place it back in. I'm using my 38 star needle just to felt them into place. Make sure that the lines are the same thickness, so I'm just removing a little bit of wool here. The bottom of the triangle that you can see here is actually going to be the top of the tail. So I'm just showing you this technique, felting lightly and adding them into place. So it's looking good. Have a look on whereabouts on your owl you'd like to attach the tail. Going in here, just under halfway of the dryer ball is where I'm attaching my tail. You don't want it too far up, you might look a little bit silly, so just keep that in mind. But hey, you might want to add a little bit of personality to your owl, so totally go with what you think is best. So I felted around the edges first, and I'm just felting that into place at the top. I want the tail to hang out just a little bit. So that is the end of the tutorial. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I will be there with you for the next one. If you have any requests on creating another cute, adorable animal with a dryer ball, please let me know in the comments. Until then, stay cozy and creative, my friends.